Looks like it's that time again. And by that time, I mean time to awkwardly bumble around in the Cataclysm and almost die 50 times. Again. Yes. Starting today, we're going to... I think... Yeah, we need more arrows first. Look at this. We can only shoot 39 things and then collect most of the arrows back again and then shoot some more things. And I want to shoot more than at least 39 things at a time, so I'm going to fix that right now. These heavy field point arrows used to be my favorite kind until I learned about wooden arrows. They don't survive as much, but look at the damage difference as well as some of the other characteristics like armor piercing. No wait, not armor piercing, dispersion. Or is that correct? There's something about them that's different. And I can't remember what it is at the moment. But the statistic is it does almost double damage, which is good. And not taking into account the bow, that is, the bow itself. It's additive, not multiplicative, I think. There's a lot of options. And every time I go into this menu, I take about half an hour to an hour looking around, and then in the end I just pick what I always pick. Oh, look at that, we're almost out of sinew and thread and super glue. We're going to need to rectify that almost immediately. In fact, I think getting some more supplies should be one of the things we focus on right now. Oh yes, look. We can literally only craft 40 more arrows until we're completely out of materials for it. There. Oh look, we're dead tired again for some reason. I think we have enough time to do something while it's still daylight. In fact, I think this giant wasp has sinew. Yeah, let's see. Never mind. A butchery rack. I remember only one time in the past when I got something like that working, and it was with one of my best characters, who I actually technically cheated to keep alive. Yes, there was... that's a story for another time, though. Right now we need to worry about the sinew. I'm just going to skip past all of that first, though. This is enough sinew for right now. And chitin. And this thing. Not that thing. There. Now, what else? Actually, do these zombies have sinew? No. That makes them almost useless. If there was something like a cockroach infestation nearby, that would be all the sinew, meat, and chitin we would ever need. Bees would also work, but there's no bees nearby. This is going to be something we need to deal with later. And by deal with, I mean burn with a lot of fire. We're just going to need to stay away from the north part of the city for right now. And when it becomes a serious problem, we'll just pack up everything in and move. I'll probably use one of these vehicles for that. It's one of those skeletons again. Oh, but it's also another one of these interesting things that I saw earlier, a different time. They're still not very threatening. It just kind of appears more threatening. Oh, look at this. Apparently, they're also more likely to have good equipment, or good loot in general. You see, this is... I keep demonstrating this because I'm still angry about it, even now that I need to just go into here and equip something like this hatchet here. Actually, I haven't tested either of these weapons, but they don't have very much ammo, so I don't want to risk losing the ammunition. I can technically use the toolbox against it. I don't know how that would work. So now, this is the plan. I'm going to kite it down into these bushes, and then... Oh, I didn't even get hit. Oh. Yes, back to the daily grind over here. I remember when these things were threatening. Just going to kind of clear out anything in here that might be remotely useful in the future. Oh. Ow. You see, once you get the bow and arrow, you're basically overpowered at that point. Oh, this would be good to disassemble. Yeah, we should do that. Ow. I didn't see that coming. Actually, looks like something else is coming. No, it hasn't noticed yet. All these things just lying out here in the streets. It would make sense that the city would be a mess, but this much of a mess? Oh, and it's already getting to be nighttime, so it will be okay to sleep now. being careful to organize everything correctly. And also, must consume sustenance of some kind. I'm not sure if being extremely drunk matters when you're sleeping, so I can probably just drink a lot of alcohol right now, and that will replenish the thirst without having any very immediate negative effect. I woke up in the middle of the night. Just going to go back to sleep now. I wake up still tired, late in the day. This is a very accurate simulation of being sick. There. And while we're up, we might as well just do something for the day while we're waiting for the sickness to wear off, which may or may not happen, I'm not sure. Actually, I might want to explore the further reaches right now. I'm trying to look for a good spot. I could try getting these solar panels. I don't actually need to go to the garages anymore, I don't think, except for maybe an acetylene torch or a welder. None of these places are looking very good. Might want to venture outside of the town sometime soon. Yeah, I suppose for now we'll just wander around and see if we can find something by accident. I'm going to take a look at what's up here first. And mostly just a lot of zombies right now. Oh, this is perfect target practice. Yeah, see, using a ranged weapon basically makes you the personification of death itself. That is, to everything that doesn't also have a ranged weapon. A wooden crossbow bolt? That's very strange. I didn't fire that. I'll take it anyway. There doesn't seem to be anything in these trash. Oh, look at how many are still here. Fortunately, they're all easy ones though, except for maybe that dog, or... Oh yes, this one right here. Yeah, that's going to take a lot longer than the rest. It's bad when you're measuring zombies' difficulty by how long it takes to destroy them. Dealing with this one first is definitely not good. It appears to be faster than the others as well, unfortunately. And it's barely injured at all. However, the archery and marksmanship skills are rising rapidly, even without the fast learner perk, which is pretty good. And this is next level kiting, all the way across the city. I always need to remember to stop running so that you don't accidentally run into something and then have no stamina to get away or fight. And then that's practically, at that point, you're just in a meat grinder. Yeah, this has some potential. Oh, this looks good, and so does this. All of these actually look pretty good. Going to need to do some micromanagement of the various worn items. That's probably better. Less things are yellow. Mostly just because there are less things in general. And encumbrance doesn't look entirely unacceptable. Legs are cold now, actually. That's a problem. Anything around here to fix that? I'll take this. Oh, a lot of things on this one. So difficult to find warm paint. Yeah, this is the best one here, and it's not great. At least it's good enough for now. And now for the monumental task of being lazy, but also needing to pick up all of these arrows. Right, I already got all of these ones. There. Oh, there's the dog. I was wondering when that would make its appearance. And you see, the dog is not very wealthy, and so it doesn't carry anything. Although generally, when have you ever met a wealthy dog before? There might be a few. But generally, it's just unlikely. And there's still more. You see, the only reason I'm able to move this fast is because I've used a keyboard for so long that my hands move faster than the human eye can actually perceive. I missed one here. Ah, crossbow here. I bet there's a survivor here that got mauled by 1,000 zombies and shot one of them, and that's where the crossbow bolt came from. And so, guess what? We now get a free crossbow and accompanying crossbow bolts. Isn't that fortunate? I'm not sure something that lucky has happened ever in this world before. Finding a crossbow just lying around in a place like this is like, in the real world, finding a $1,000 bill just floating around in the wind. Oh, and this is the person right here. Yes, and always remember to collect the scrap metal and chunks of steel. Going to take these motors as well. Or that is until you get overweight. Well, what is this? Used to be a shopping cart, but it got it got mauled as well. So now we don't even need either the resources to make a crossbow or the schematics for it, we just have one. And we can actually begin using it immediately if we want to. for practice. Right now I think we have so much skill in archery though that it would be impractical to switch to a crossbow without practicing first. I feel like... No, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. That's just paranoia. One thing I really don't like about crossbows, though, is the one detail that they take forever to reload, which normal bows don't. And unless the crossbow does more damage, that's less DPS, which is undeniably worse. Although a weapon with identical DPS but with a slightly faster fire rate would actually be better because, well, not in this case, because then you would need to do all of the firing manually and that would take more time and more effort. But normally in a real-time game it would be more effective for statistical reasons. We're cold again. Good luck finding a way to not be cold, because look at this. I'm wearing thousands of items and I'm still cold. Imagine if I wasn't wearing anything, I would be freezing to death. So now, I think this is a good time to actually start practicing using the crossbow. This isn't very many bolts though, but fortunately I know exactly how to make more bolts. First, we equip the hatchet, then we destroy the fence. Then we haul all of the pieces into a centralized pile, equip the crossbow preemptively, look at how many 2x4s we have, because that way we know how many bolts we can make, and then we begin just making the bolts. But before we begin that, we can just favorite those so that they appear in the favorite section so we can get to them more quickly and easily. In fact, I'm also going to do that with where is it? Here we go again. I'm going to need a brute force search for this. If I don't want to use the search feature built in, which I don't. Yeah, fine, I'll do it anyway. There, so now we can quickly make that as well. And what else do we make a lot of that we want to have ready access to within? I don't think anything right now. So now we can just make the first one of these and then repeat the process until we have so many crossbow bolts that we can't even carry all of them. Look at that. We can shoot everything. And now we can be on our way for the 2 hours of daylight we have left. Actually, thinking about that. We should go on foot so that we don't need to bother with all of the the bicycle things we need to worry about. Oh, and look. The first target. Reloading first. Oh yeah, and the range of this weapon isn't great either. Oh, what's this in here? A glow stick, yes. That will be supremely useful. As well as a wheel that I can also carry. I can just pick up this wheel and carry it like it's nothing because I'm superhumanly strong. As you can see in my strength stat here, normally I'm at 12 strength, which is 4 higher than usual, but now, since I have the cold, I'm as strong as normal. Which, how many normal people do you know can just carry around a tire like it's nothing? Well, to be fair, I'm almost at my weight limit. And this is another thing I don't like about the crossbow. The prompt for every reload. And sometimes you need to cancel the prompt multiple times during the reload. Oh, that's a lot of target practice over there. Taking a look at the skill currently. Yeah, that is rifles here. We haven't even gotten to level 1 yet, and we're already almost to level 4 archery, so you can see it's not ideal to switch weapons after you've become proficient in the one you already have, unless you do training first, which this is. Ideally, you would want to become good at everything. Yeah, but of course, that takes time. Oh, look at this. You see, the nice thing about these shopping cart baskets is that they can hold 600 cups. I don't remember exactly how many liters that translates to. I think 200 liters. I think it's 3 cups per liter. Or perhaps 4. Probably 3. But the point is, if you put this on the back of a bicycle, it can now hold, instead of 80 cups, 600, which is almost 10 times as much. Which instantly turns it into an invaluable item to have. Although, I don't think you can make a folding bike that you can pick up with one of these on it. But you can just take it off every time you want to pick it up. But right now we're actually going to, well, normally I would disassemble that to get that off of it, so that I can have it. But I think instead I'll just drag it back, since we are so close to home anyway. Oh, but see that. We found a cough syrup here, which will alleviate some of the symptoms of the common cold. I think. I'm pretty sure. At least it says it does. And so now that this location is empty, we can just go home with this, with our new shopping cart that we just took. And since the day is almost over, we really have very little reason to be out here any longer anyway. And we can do with this, just as we did with the bicycle. A funny detail is, I just noticed that the other door we have is locked because I never opened it before. Oh, we actually have one of these now as well. But we're also dead tired again. So we're going to... right. It's definitely in here somewhere. Here it is. There, that should help with sleeping. We also need water. And not coffee, that would make it hard to sleep. But now we can just, yeah. And so this should help also. Yeah, so the cough syrup helps us sleep because we're not coughing all the time. And we can take a double dose of that right now, or a second dose rather, in order to pass the rest of the night. And now we're not tired anymore. Now the height of luxury. Actual functional medicine. Oh, look at that, we're actually completely out of clean water now. Which means that we're going to take some containers, fill them up with unclean water, and boil that. We have this thermos to start with. A styrofoam cup, that's hardly enough. This jerry can will do well, as will these plastic bottles. Not the plastic bag. What kind of maniac would put water in a plastic bag? These glass bottles, these glass jars, because, oh yes, and these gallon jugs. Those things are all sealable, so you can carry them in a backpack. I doubt any of these books will help us carry liquid. That should be everything. There, and that's the process. Now, I assume we will only need at most 5 planks. What can we do with the toolbox? Oh, a lot of things. A barrel? So now we can use this thing we bound earlier. Oh, and look, it can take advantage of batch processing. And so now it will take only half an hour to purify 20 water instead of what's 5 times 20? That's 100. So that's more than an hour. That's about an hour and a half actually, I think. An hour and a third. But now this is under half an hour. So it's actually smarter to do batch processing with clean water. And so we can pour this into any of these things that we want to. These 27 aluminum cans each can hold, I think, 1 cup. And so this is 27 cups of storage right here. I prefer centralizing all of the clean water into something like a large jug or a barrel. And then we can do that again, and that will free even more containers, as well as providing the water we need anyway. Also being sure to fill completely the containers that are not full, that are partially full. And again, we can fill this gallon jug in this thermos. And now to finish the jerry can. And so that's all the water we'll need for another century, I think. Taking a look, we can see, yeah. We're going to want to empty these smaller containers first so that we can centralize all of the water to keep track of it better. So things like, what's a good example? I think in this case it would be the bottles and jars. And another detail, the effects of the cold are being very strongly mitigated by the other things we're doing. And on top of what's already happening, we can use more cough syrup as well. Unfortunately, this is the drowsy cough syrup instead of the non-drowsy. So there is also the depressants effect from the cough syrup. Also, we're being overheated by being so close to the fire. Down here it's better, but not great. We can continue this after another 24-hour cycle has elapsed. Or in other words, tomorrow. Or maybe later, or never.